It's recap time. 3, 2. Hey, quick interruption, Future Chip here. If you're coming from the previous video and you already know the drill, you can skip directly to the recap. Otherwise, if this is your first time, I'll let you with the intro and enjoy the episode. 1. Hello everybody and welcome to the Shower Podcast, the podcast where I'm in my shower and you do you. I'm your host Chip and this is not my usual intro. This is a bit of a special episode. Unfortunately, I will be away for a few days and I found out this interesting way of filling the gaps with recaps from previous episodes. If this is your first time here, use it as an opportunity to find topics that you might be interested in and go back to listen to the original ones. If you are a usual listener of the Shower Podcast, well, again, this might be a rehearsal of topics that you might be interested in. Otherwise, I understand if you want to wait for me to be back. But in the meanwhile, the podcast needs to continue and we need to reach day 365. Having said that, I will not keep you longer. Thank you very much for listening. As always, a like and a subscribe. They are always welcome. And now, recap time.
Hey, welcome everyone. Today we're doing something a little different.
Yeah, we're looking back.
Exactly. We're revisiting 5 recent explorations that host Chip shared on his own show.
Mm-hmm.
And look, if any of these sound interesting and you happen to miss the original deep dives, you can always go back and catch the full thing.
Definitely worth it if one grabs you.
But for today, we're just going to, touch on the main themes, the key insights.
Maybe some of the funnier bits, too.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll just go in order, the way they were released.
Sounds good. It's always interesting to see how these different ideas he explores, how they sometimes link up.
Right. He's got this way of taking these really personal moments and finding something bigger in them.
He really does. Looking at them together like this should be quite insightful, I think.
Okay, so let's kick off. Episode 125, it was called Daddy Issues.
Ah, yes. That one started with Chip going to Naples, right?
Yep.
A convention.
Yeah, and he ended up meeting some online friends there in person. And, well, he found himself in this kind of surprising position with them.
The adopted father thing, I remember that. It was interesting how he reflected on that.
Totally. He sort of looked back at his own tendency, even from a young age, to be the responsible, mature one.
And how important it is, to have those friends you can actually count on. Mm-hmm. Someone for advice, for that outside perspective, validation.
Exactly. He really got a lot out of being that person for his friends, apparently. And he made a great point about how valuable those kinds of supportive friendships really are for everyone.
And didn't he also hint at something else, like talking later about why accepting criticism is so hard sometimes?
Oh, yeah, he did tee that up.
Yeah.
You can kind of see the connection, right?
Yeah.
Appreciating honest feedback from friends.
Sets the stage for thinking about criticism more broadly. Makes sense.
Oh, and the funny part, he was actually sick when he recorded that one.
Right. He asked if people preferred his sick voice, which, just makes it feel more real. It's not some perfect broadcast. It's just life, sniffles included.
Exactly. Okay, so moving on. Episode 126. You're a genius.
Mm-hmm. This one took a different angle. Looking at that phrase, you're a genius.
Yeah, and how maybe it gets thrown around a bit too much now, especially with AI language models.
That was fascinating. He started off by pointing out, quite rightly, that actual genius is, pretty rare.
Right. And then he talked about this trend of people using tools like ChatGPT or Gemini, not just for info, but almost like therapy, for validation.
Yes, and the key point was how these AIs often sound super assertive, really confident.
And we humans, we kind of like hearing positive stuff, don't we?
We definitely do. He shared that anecdote, remember? Someone prompting ChatGPT for an IQ estimate.
Oh, yeah, and it came back with like 130, 140, like Einstein levels.
Which just shows the danger, doesn't it? If you're getting constant, unearned praise from a machine.
It can really mess with your perception of your own skills, make you resistant to real feedback.
Exactly. Chip called it glazing, right? That excessive empty praise.
Yeah, he did. His advice was basically, seek validation through actual challenges, through doing things. Be wary of compliments without substance.
And the thumbnail for that episode, 2 + 2 = 4, labeled as genius.
Yeah, that was a perfect touch. Really makes you think about where you're looking for that sense of worth.
It does, and it kind of links back to the first one about needing validation, but from the right sources that help you grow.
Good point. Okay, next up was 127, Night Owl.
Ah, the classic morning person versus night person debate.
Yeah, and Chip definitely falls into the Night Owl camp.
Yeah.
This was more of a personal reflection for him.
I think a lot of people could relate to this one. He described coming back late from playing paddle, I think.
That's right, and just appreciating the quiet, the lack of demands, the peace of the night.
Contrasting it with the daytime, which, let's face it, often feels full of interruptions, hard to focus.
Totally. He talked about that nighttime feeling, that sort of calm focus, giving him this different kind of energy, an alternative energy, he called it, for his own projects.
Mm-hmm. And he made that interesting point about how successful people often manage to find that focus during the day, usually through really strong prioritization.
Yeah, it's about carving out that space whenever it works for you.
So his advice was basically, figure out your own peak times. When do you really focus best? And then actively protect that time.
Right, for work or even just for enjoyment. He argued against automatically seeing nighttime activities as wasted.
As long as it's intentional, not just drifting. It can be for focused play, like he said, remembering childhood.
Yeah, it's about finding your rhythm. Oh, and he had that little joke about YouTube analytics watching who subscribes.
Ha, yeah, classic Chip. But the core message was solid productivity isn't just 9 to 5. Find your zone.
Okay, episode 128, Habemus Papam.
This one sounded religious, but it wasn't really, was it?
Not at all. He used the announcement of a new pope as an analogy, actually. A really interesting one about seeking moments where you're the protagonist.
Right, not about the Pope's importance, but that feeling, being center stage, all eyes on you.
He shared a personal story, didn't he? Speaking to like 3,000 people.
Yeah, and the intense feeling of that moment.
And the football penalty analogy was great too. That sharp focus, the high stakes, big success or big failure right there.
Captures that intensity perfectly. He acknowledged it's natural to kind of shy away from that pressure.
Of course. But he was actually encouraging people to seek those moments out sometimes.
Saying they can be really transformative if you reflect on them properly afterwards.
He did add a little warning, though. That feeling of power can be addictive.
True, but also a potential catalyst for growth, used right.
And his funny comment about no meme material, because the announcement went smoothly.
Yeah, kept it light while making a serious point about stepping up and embracing the spotlight, even when it's daunting.
Okay, last one we're recapping. Episode 129, Take a Breath.
Oh, this one felt very real. Dealing with feeling overwhelmed.
Totally universal, right? And the solution he offered was so simple, yet effective.
He shared his own experience, didn't he? A normal day just spiraling into overwhelm.
Yeah, that mental ping pong he described.
Yeah.
Thinking about work, the kitchen needing cleaning, the gym, just spinning.
And that feeling, even when you know what you should do, just pick something and start. It can be so hard to break out of the overthinking loop.
So true. His simple action, just going outside for 5 minutes, no phone, just collect his thoughts.
It really highlights that internal conflict, doesn't it? You need the break, but you're scared of falling behind even more.
And he connected it back to that earlier idea, knowledge is a curse. Sometimes knowing the perfect way stops you from taking any small step.
That was a really sharp connection.
So the takeaway was basically, if you're feeling swamped, just stop. Literally take a few minutes, breathe, pick one priority, and just do something towards it.
Any progress is better than being stuck spinning. Such practical advice.
Yeah. And yeah, the infamous unclean kitchen got another mention.
Of course. It's a great reminder, though, sometimes the simplest act, like just breathing, is the most powerful thing when you're stressed.
So that's our whirlwind tour of those 5 deep dives from Chip.
Yeah, quite a range of topics. Friendship, AI, finding focus, handling pressure, managing overwhelm.
Hopefully revisiting these ideas has been useful, maybe spark some new thoughts for you.
Or maybe encourage you to go listen to the full episodes if something caught your ear.
Absolutely. Well, thanks so much for tuning in for this recap with us.
It's been great revisiting these.
We'll see you tomorrow.